In my previous life, my parents doted on my frail, sickly younger sister. For her sake, they chose a hawk beast man willing to settle in a human city as her husband. Me, they cast me into the deep sea, marrying me off to a giant shark beast man. When the apocalypse came and torrential rains drowned every human city, my parents and sister were left clinging to a rotting plank, adrift on the endless ocean. I couldn't bear to watch them die. With my giant shark husband, I dragged them down into the deep sea to safety, but resentment festered, seeing me live comfortably while my shark beast man hunted day after day. My parents grew furious that my sister's life paled in comparison to mine. In their jealousy, they laced the fish we ate with poison and killed me. Now, given another chance at life, they've decided my sister should marry the giant shark beast man instead. My biased parents believe she will finally enjoy the blessings they once denied her, but what they don't know is this: after the cataclysm, fish become scarce, and a giant shark does not survive on scraps. He needs flesh. Sealy, you must listen to us. Only by marrying Gideon, the giant shark, will you ever know true happiness. My parents clutched my younger sister's hands, their voices coaxing and insistent. The moment I heard those words, I knew my biased parents had been reborn as well. For generations, the women of our family had been bound to orc marriages. In our generation now, only my sister and I remained. In our previous life, two suitors came forward: Gideon, the giant shark beast man, and Felix, the hawk beast man. Gideon was rugged, his appearance fierce, his world was deep beneath the waves. Marrying him meant abandoning the land and dwelling in the vast sea. Felix, in contrast, was refined, dignified, his presence commanding. He even vowed to remain in the human city for the sake of his bride, unwilling to see my frail sister suffer. My parents chose Felix for her, and so I was given to Gideon. Bound to the ocean's depths day after day, my parents and sister flaunted the bliss of their city life before me, but scarcely half a month later, the rains came without end, floods surged, swallowing nearly every human city. They clung desperately to a rotting plank, adrift at sea, waiting for Felix to scour the skies for food, but the endless labor wore him down. His wings gave out, torn and broken. Seeing no hope in him, my parents and sister tossed him into the waves like refuse, unable to endure their suffering. They begged me for help. I relented, pity stirred in me, and I brought them into the deep sea. Yet as I stayed at home, awaiting Gideon's return from the hunt, my parents decided I lived too well, better than their beloved Sealy, so they laced our fish with poison. Why? The question tore from me as the venom burned through my veins. Why, when I was their child too, would they betray me for Sealy's sake? They looked at me with nothing but disgust. Sealy is frail, she deserves this life of comfort. You stole the good life that was hers. In my parents' eyes, I owed Sealy my entire life, because I had absorbed too much nourishment in our mother's womb. Sealy was born weak and frail, but was that my choice? Back then, I was nothing more than an ignorant infant. I watched coldly as my parents coaxed my reluctant sister, my gaze drifting to the two beast men waiting nearby. Gideon was not the sort of man any girl would find appealing at first glance. He lived in the deep sea. After all, his rough, careless features hardly seemed out of place. His wedding gift consisted of nothing more than fish he had hauled from the ocean and dried in the sun. Felix was entirely different. His handsome face could rival the young stars of idol dramas on television. His wedding gift followed human tradition, carefully prepared, each detail showing thought and sincerity. It was no wonder my parents had chosen him for Sealy in our past life. Felix truly was a good man. Remembering how he ended up last time, I couldn't help but feel pity for him. But this time, his fate should not be so tragic. I didn't know what my parents whispered to Sealy, but after a long discussion, the three of them emerged, beaming. My parents clasped Gideon's hand, treating him warmly as their son-in-law. Sealy is gentle, kind, and beautiful. She's a perfect match for you. Then father's tone shifted as he glanced at me, filled with disdain, as though I weren't his daughter at all. As for Avery, she can marry Felix, and so the marriages were settled. Gideon, impatient to return to the sea, was eager to take Sealy away at once. He despised the land, always complaining it was too dry. It was the same in my last life. Right after our engagement, he dragged me down into the deep, but back then, my parents never cared how I fared. Now that Sealy was his wife, they would not sit idly by. Sealy's health is poor. We've decided the two of us will move in as well. There are things we'll need to pack, Gideon, so don't rush off just yet, Mother said with a smile. She called it a discussion, but it was nothing more than an announcement. Gideon's impatience was written all over his face. Then make it quick. With that, he strode out to wash up. Sealy's expression soured. Mom, Gideon is far too arrogant. I really don't like him. Mother hurried to embrace her, soothing her with soft words. Oh, my little treasure. So what if a man is arrogant? Think of the endless rains to come, don't you? Want a life of comfort and plenty. At that, Sealy's mood lightened, but when she turned and saw me standing nearby, her lips curled into a sneer. Why are you still here? Why isn't your husband eager to take you away? Avery, don't tell me you're still hoping for a share of our parents' estate. Let me make this clear. You won't get a single thing. Everything belongs to me. Her arrogance drew no rebuke. My parents simply stood at her side, nodding in agreement. That's right, Avery. We've already worked hard enough raising you. When will you register your marriage with Felix and move out? Oh, and don't bother packing the things from your room. We're saving everything for Sealy. I couldn't help but laugh. Raising me? You mean the way you forced me to start working at 16, earning my own living while handing over money to support this family? And what room are you talking about? That storage closet you shoved me into. Even those broken wooden scraps you call furniture. You can't bear to part with them. With that, I took Felix's hand. He had appeared at some point without my noticing. I turned on my heel and walked away. Behind me, my parents stood frozen in awkward silence, staring at one another in dismay. You, Felix hesitated, his handsome face tinged with sympathy. Among the beast men, he was unusual, one of the rare few who preferred human ways of living, and thus he knew a little about our kind. Yet even so, he had never imagined that human society, so advanced and prosperous, could still leave someone to live as miserably as I had. He couldn't understand my parents. Even in the great beastman clans, where offspring were numerous and favoritism existed, they followed the law of the wild, survival of the fittest. Favoring the weak over the strong was something unseen and unheard of. Humans truly were strange. From the look in his eyes, I understood what he wanted to say. I smiled. The past doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that every day from from now on. Away from that house, will only get better. Felix nodded, half comprehending. After we registered our marriage, he suddenly reached out and clasped my hand. Honey, the word rang out with such force that it didn't even make me blush. If anything, it felt like he was about to raise a cup of wine and swear brotherhood with me. But what he said next made me want to throw my arms around him and kiss him. I have homes in 3 different cities. Wherever you want to live, we'll live there. If you prefer the city, then we'll stay in the city. But if you don't, he gritted his teeth. Back home, I still own an entire mountain, though for you humans, it might feel a little high up. My eyes lit up instantly. The mountain. Let's live on the mountain. Felix scratched his head in confusion. I thought humans all preferred apartments and high rises. That's why I bought those city homes. Won't you find mountain life uncomfortable? No food delivery service out there, though. There is Wi-Fi. I shook my head quickly. No, not at all. I'd love it. Sell those city homes. We'll live on the mountain together. After all, in the city it's all towers and concrete. You wouldn't even be able to fly. In the previous life, when he flew out searching for food, collapsing debris from the flooded city had crushed his wings, and for a broken wing was no different from being crippled. At my words, clumsy, but still a kind of concern. Felix blinked, startled. All right then, we'll live on the mountain, and one day, when the chance comes, I'll take you flying. The image sent a shiver down my spine. Let's leave that for later. Instead, I led him back to my family home. There wasn't much there that truly belonged to me, but I had bought plenty of little things with my own earnings, and I wasn't about to let that family take them for free. Most importantly, my grandmother, the only one who had ever cherished me, had sewn me a little doll before she passed away. She left it in my room. I had to take it with me. But when I brought Felix to the house and keyed in the passcode, the lock refused to open. I tried several times, to no avail. In the short time we'd been gone to collect our marriage certificate, they had actually changed the code. Fury surged through me. I pounded on the door. Open up, open the door. I could hear voices inside, proof that they were home, yet not a single one of them came to answer. It was obvious. They were ignoring me on purpose.